AutoCAD is a great tool that can help you get your work done quickly and accurately. One way that it does this is with the Align command. This command tool will automatically move and rotate and even scale an object or objects for you based on 2 to 3 different defined points. So let's open up the Align command. Go to the chapter for this video, find your files, and go to align.dwg. In this file, I've set up just a few basic shapes, square, triangles, couple of arcs. And what we need to do is get all these objects to be aligned with some of the others. We're going to align them with a square. Now, some of them will fit perfectly, others will need to be rotated, and some will need to be scaled. Now, we can measure them all. For example, let's see, this square is 5 units wide. So it's 5 units by 5 units. Now, this arc has a radius that is 2.5 units. And from endpoint to endpoint, it's 5 units long. So in theory, we should be able to move it by using the move command, selecting the arc, right click, grab that endpoint, and it looks like it's lined up perfectly there. Now, we had to go through a lot of different steps to make sure that we did that. Let's shorten that up a bit. Let's use the align command. Just type in the word align, A-L-I-G-N, press enter. And we're going to first select the objects that you want to move. Now, the align command will move objects. It will also rotate objects. And then if you tell it to, it will also scale those objects. Well, we don't want to scale this object. We just want to do a move and a rotate. So we select all the objects. You could pick one, or you could pick everything in your file, honestly. Once you're done making your selection, press enter. Now you have to define 2 base points. It's 2 base points on your object to be moved, and then 2 points of where you're moving those points to. So it's kind of like grabbing this endpoint, moving it to here, and then we're grabbing this endpoint and moving it to here, since that's exactly what we want to do anyway. So we grab our first point. So we grab it here, and we say, okay, I want this point to go to here. So I click on that. Now you see this white line there? It's just giving you a visual display saying, yeah, I'm moving it from here to here. It's not drawing that line. That line will go away once the command is finished. So I'm going to do the same thing here for point 2. Click here and click here. So that gives you a nice idea of where it's going. Now you can pick up to 3 different lines. And that's a really nice feature because it will help you to line up things very nicely, especially if you have 3 points that you want to kind of hold. Now, if it can't hold it there exactly, it will line it up as best as it can. It'll hold on to that very first point. It'll line that one up perfectly, and it kind of split the difference between the other 2. That's why typically I will only use 2 points because that's really about all I need for the majority of the applications. In this case, that's definitely all that I need. So once I've selected my reference points, press enter. And it's going to ask me if I want to scale these objects. No, I don't, because I don't want to change the size of this arc. I just want it to be lined up from endpoint to endpoint. So I'm going to select no. See, it moved it here. That was very easy to do. Now, in the case of this triangle, let's say I want this line right here, this face, to line up with this object right here on this part of my square. Not a problem. Let's pick the align command again, select my object. I want this endpoint to go here. Let's say I want this endpoint to go here. Obviously, this line is smaller than this, so it's not going to line up from this point to this point. But I'm going to demonstrate to you what it's going to do. Press enter. No, I don't want to scale it. And it moves it right there, just the way I told it to. Line it up between here and here. It rotated it, moved it, and it held that first point and then matched the second point as best as it could. I'm going to show you the align with the scale. So I'm going to use the align command. I'm going to pick this arc. Let's line up this point with that point, and then this point with that point. Now this arc is obviously a little bit bigger, so it's going to shrink down. So press enter, and it says scale yes. So it rotates it, moves it, and scales it down until it fits between those 2 points. So the align command is very useful and very practical, and will help you to line things up very easily. Now I'm going to show you 3 points here real quick. I'm going to align this triangle, this point to point 1, now this point to point 2, now this point to point 3. So you see here, it held that first one and then lined up these 2 as best as it possibly could. So it'll align up the second one as best and then the third one as best. So it kind of goes backwards. This one is absolute and it holds these a little bit better. Now, if I were to do this, pick the midpoint here, pick that endpoint, this point, pick there, press enter, no shrinking. It lines that up perfectly. So the align command is very useful. I use it a lot, especially when I need to move and rotate something. And if I need to move, rotate, and scale, then it's 3 commands into one. I'll get a lot of PDF files from outside sources, from third parties, and I need to align that with my line work. Well, a lot of times I've found that a PDF has been made not to scale. All the line work inside it is scaled relative to each other, but it's not to an actual scale. It's not correct. So I'll use the align command to line up that PDF to my line work to help me better trace or work with that PDF. So there are a lot of other different applications as well, I'm sure you can see. And anytime you're going to have to move and rotate something, consider using the align command. You might find it a lot easier to work with.